This is an episode for those of you who already know you have a love for math. Today, we are speaking with Maneet, a math modeler at the First Citizens Bank. She completed her bachelor's in mathematics from Rutgers University. She then went on for a master's in financial engineering. And then using that background, she landed in the model risk area of the financial industry.
One of the areas that I'm in, and it's a very critical area to a bank, it's the model risk. Models they comprise of mathematical equations. These are decision-making tools that a company uses to forecast their losses, or the risk appetite, the risk that the bank is taking.
Right.
They ultimately end up making their decisions whether it's worth taking the risk or not. So I'm looking from the beginning of how the developers started developing the model. Did they look at different other tools that they could have used? Is this, the best that they could come up with? And then if so, is it intended again, is it intended for business use? Is it safe to be used for the company? Is it performing as intended and things like that? And then if things are not going fine, you are kind of digging deep into it, what could have gone wrong? So you really need to understand all aspects of that model to be in the model validation area. As an example, there are some credit risk models that we work with. They predict the risk of defaulting on a loan for an entity, for a person that the bank has loaned out the money to. So there's a risk of default. So math is heavily, heavily used in the area that I'm in. There is a lot of math that's used. So we use, for example, a lot of statistics, a lot of probability. There's, stochastic calculus. There is graph theory. There is trigonometry. There is numerical analysis. There's a wide range of subjects that are actually used in my areas.
Can you explain, how do you use trig in your work?
So trigonometry, you talk about, you might have seen the sine curves, right?
Right, absolutely.
Trigonometry. If, for example, you look at mortgages, right? There's a particular season where people tend to actually buy houses. It kind of also goes around schooling. These models, they are basically calculating a risk of defaulting, or it could be a risk of prepayment. There's a refinancing incentive sometimes to people. Either you buy a house, you leave and you go somewhere else, or you refinance because you're getting a lower interest rate somewhere else. So these models actually take that into consideration, and you need to have the knowledge of trigonometry. You need to know that.
That's beautiful. So you have the sine curves, how they move. That's coming into play here. Wow. Amazing.
Now, I'm not really using C++ in my day-to-day job right now. Where the C++ foundation helped me is that it builds up a foundation, right? You kind of know the basics of a programming language. When you know that, then it's very easy to pick up other programming languages. We are using a lot of statistical, software. We use R. We also use a lot of SAS. We use Python.
You use Python also, I see.
This is exactly where I wanted to go. So I'm very happy with what I do right now.
That's why I really wanted to have you on the show, because I want to showcase to kids who are passionate about math the different things that are out there. It's not just engineering or earning a PhD or going into math education.
I just followed my passion. All I knew was being in undergrad back in Rutgers, not knowing where this is going to take me, but I just pursued it. I just knew that I really loved the subject and I really wanted to do something with it. I had no clue what. So the advice I'd like to give is just follow your heart, follow your passion. You're going to be okay, because you're going to eventually find your way.